Cheers. Tuesday, September 3rd. Interesting is Labor Day was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Monday. Yep. Monday, September 2nd was Labor Day. It's funny. I've been through 38 Labor Days. I'm 38 years old. I've had 38 Labor Days in my life. Where did Labor Day come from? It's interesting because something, just as an entrepreneur, that is just funny to me because I don't have a 9-to-5 job. So it's kind of funny to me, not like funny, haha, but odd, quirky, interesting. How, and I used to think this when I did have a 9-to-5, I could not wait for that bell to go off at the shipyard. For the bell to sound ding 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 ding, or it was a horn or something. Maybe it was a horn. You know, when I worked for the Department of Defense Navy, this was whatever, 15 years ago now. Hard to believe. 14, 15 years ago. But I remember when that bell, the whistle blew. Yeah. And I remember how all the people, all the lazy, autistic, fat, unprincipled, trashy guys on your crew who were there that floated. I don't mean they're trashy as human beings. I mean that they're trashy human beings that have accepted the trash and live trashy and have trashy morals. Okay. I'm not saying I'm better than them. I'm saying that is the typical shipyard worker that I encountered. They were lazy. They didn't want to work. They worked harder at not working than working. Complained about everything. You know, it was bizarre. And they shuffle from one job, to the next, and it'd take them, an hour to take a poop. You'd be like, "Where's Jerry?" And Jerry's like been gone for like an hour, and you're like, "He's taking a dump." It's like, oh, okay. Well, no consequence for any behavior like that. But when that whistle blew at the end of the day, boy, they made a beeline for the bus. A beeline. You better get out of their way because they'll knock you over. They'd slap a paraplegic in a wheelchair to be the first one on that bus that takes them to the parking lot outside the gates of the shipyard. You park outside the gates, you walk in, you take the bus to your whatever. It's a huge place. So, it takes like 10 minutes for the bus to go from this end to that end or whatever. And at the end of the day, the buses would be slammed because people be making beelines. They saved up all their energy all day, not working, to then when the whistle blow, they get low. Get low when the whistle blow. Doing the paraplegics a disservice. Knocking them over on the way to the bus. How dare. Anyways, you're just going, well, that's how I felt about leaving the shipyard as well. Now, I wasn't slapping paraplegics in wheelchairs, but I also wanted to get on that bus. I want to get the hell out of there. Why? Because I hated every second of it. Why? Because of my reasons, all my reasons why, and my life and where I was at the time and whatever. All I'm saying is people with 9-to-5s, I know the feeling of wanting to get that vacation day. Oh my God. Oh, thank God it's a 3-day weekend because, oh my God, I'm going to blow my head off because if I've got to go back into work, blah, blah, work sucks. I've got to be done and whatever. And it's just like, that's how most people live every day. They can't wait to get out of work. They can't wait to get home. They can't wait to get back to, I don't even know, their lives of most people not doing anything, I mean, I don't want to rant here. But I was thinking about Labor Day. I was going, where is Labor Day from? This is crazy. You gotta see this. Who started Labor Day? How did Labor Day, and then at the end of it, start? Okay, how did Labor Day start? Now this is from Google. Let me screen share. Google, there's a lot. I'm surprised by the amount of money that you cannot, or excuse me, the amount of information that you cannot find on Google. Labor activists in individual states. What are the Knights of Labor, though? Check this out. Hold on. What are the Knights of Labor? Because this is what my wife was reading to me the other day. This is crazy. The Knights of Labor was a 19th century American labor organization that was the first national industrial union in the United States. So it was a union. The KOL was active in the United States, Canada, Great Britain, Australia. Okay. The KOL was founded in Philadelphia. Okay. KOL's goals included cooperative enterprise, land and monetary reform, replace capitalism with a system of worker cooperatives, membership, organization, labor conflicts, social care. Knights of Labor and Labor Day. The Knights had a wide-ranging platform for social and economic change. The organization campaigned for an 8-hour workday, the abolition of child labor, improved safety in factories, equal pay for men and women, and compensation for the on-job injury. Now let's go back here to 1882, New York City, under the Direction City Central Labor Union. 1800s, unions covered, blah, blah, blah. This is crazy. Labor is a federal holiday in the U.S. celebrated as the first Monday of September to honor and recognize the American labor movement and the works and contributions of laborers to the development and achievements in the United States. Now, this is interesting because we have a day, one day a year, where we celebrate the laborer. It's so communist to me. That's what I'm getting at. It's so communist to me. And like with the medical industry, like with the military, like with our politics and government, like with our lending and central banking, the elite want to feed you bread and they want to entertain you. It's Rome, guys. We're living in Rome. It was created by the Knights of Labor. Now, these people, there was child slave labor in the United States. There still is. We just outsource it to India and Bangladesh and China. I ain't got time. I'll tell you this. I ain't got time to go and freaking figure out who sewed my shirt. That ain't my job. I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time to boycott Dollar Shave Club. I don't have time. If you boycott one, you got to boycott them all because they're all interconnected, intertwined. What am I saying? I'm saying that labor, yes, is everyone will labor for the most part in something. Everyone will labor, whether or not that's going to the shipyard every day. And, the labor aspect isn't always the work. It's just enduring the downtime. That's a lot of government jobs. Hurry up and wait. You wait for the first 6 months I was there, I hardly worked. I hardly did anything. And I only lasted 10 months at the job because I was like, I can't just go and trade my time for money all day. I can't do that. I know there's more in my life. I know there's more that I want. I want more expression. I want more freedom. I want more money than that. I want more opportunity than that. It's not for me, the shipyard thing. But a lot of people feel that way, but they don't ever do anything about it. And they just cling on to their Labor Day. And they're honored with one holiday. You get one paid day off every year to honor your labor. Big whoopee. And it's interesting because the slave class, which is the labor class, it's still the laborers are the slaves. They're the modern slave, really. And when I say slave, it's not that they're not making any money. It's that they love Labor Day. And they live for Labor Day and whatever holidays and anything to get them out of the reality of their daily life and their daily job. It's funny because we started calling it Slaver Day. Yesterday, we were like, oh, it's Labor Day. Yeah. The slave holiday for all the slaves that labor. Now, I'm not saying if you labor, you're a slave. But I am saying if you're a slave, you probably labor. And it's probably not fun. You probably can't wait to get away from work. And that sucks really bad. I did that. It sucks really bad. I did it for a short period of time. And I was like, F that, I ain't doing that. Everything in my life, like with jobs and everything, it's just like, can I bear this? Can I bear this? I would rather go pressure wash buildings and mow lawns and weed whack and blow parking lots than go back to that damn shipyard. But that's me. So that's what I did. I rather showed up for $14, $15 an hour under the table. I'd much rather do that. No health insurance, no financial anything, paycheck to paycheck. That was my life. And I was much happier doing that than I was at the shipyard. But it's interesting how everybody lives for Labor Day and those holidays that get them out of the reality of their daily life. But they have to go right back to it. They have no other options. They have them, they just don't recognize them. This is crazy. Like thinking about the things that motivate most people, I find zero motivation in. We had a barbecue yesterday at our house. We hosted a bunch of family and friends. And that was cool. That was fun. But I can only have so much fun right now. I don't know, in the beginning of my life, I hung out a lot more with people. I was always hanging out with people. That's a young person thing, right? You hang out with people. You have all sorts of friends. At least you think you're friends. And it's just light and it's fun and it's frivolous and it's stupid and it's revelry and it means nothing. And you find out after having done that in your 20s, your teens and 20s for 10, 12 years, that you get to 26, 27, 28 years old. And you start realizing, I probably don't need people as much. People are crazy. A lot of the friends I had back then, I don't have now. You thought you'd be friends forever with certain people. You weren't. They don't even care about you. You don't talk together. You don't call them. They don't call you. Life just kind of happens and it goes. And then people typically throw themselves into work. The fun's over, right? You're 30. It's time to work. Maybe you'll find someone through online dating. At some point, maybe have a kid. Probably not, though, because millennials, lots of millennials and Gen Zers don't want to have kids. By the way, the tetanus shot is an incredible correlation between infertility and the tetanus shot. Don't know if you heard that. I've never had a tetanus shot, so I have children. But it's crazy how that contributes so much to infertility. I think largely everything, is meant to discourage you from having children, including your paycheck. And I think that the government has successfully done that. Deterred good people from wanting to have children through Labor Day. Everything's connected. Anyways, so thinking about Labor Day and thinking about my relationship with it, and then realize that, why are we not working on today? Why are we not working Monday, Labor Day, September 2nd? It's for the laborer. Okay, that's crazy because there's really not a difference between Saturday and Monday to me, a weekday and a weekend. It makes no difference to me. Why? Because one way or the other, I'm reading a book. One way or the other, I'm doing YouTube. One way or the other, I have stuff going on. I have my kids' stuff. I have this stuff. And nobody made my schedule for me. I made my own schedule. So I can have a Labor Day whenever I want to have a Labor Day. Wasn't always like that. But I can have a Labor Day whenever. I don't have any Slaver days. I have Labor Days where I'm tired. It's crazy. Like I went to Nashville last month or back in July. Hard to believe it's already September. Can't believe it. It's going so fast. I went to Nashville back in July. Right when I got back home, I got sick. I was sick for a week and a half, dude. I did not feel normal for at least that long. And then it took another week for me to fully get over it. I was like, dude, this is a crazy, whatever is holding on to me is some COVID thing, some synthetic lab produced sickness that's going around. And then my folks had it. They were down for 2-3 weeks. And then I know that with a number of other people, there's some flu thing going around. And people just, But I didn't have to go back to work. There were things I had to do. But my work today isn't labor. So it's not like I need a Labor Day because I'm not laboring. I'm going over information. I'm memorizing things. I'm working on government contracts. I'm watching those videos about IDQs and ID, what do they call? ID, RFPs, RFIs, RFQs, IDIQs, all the acronyms, all the new stuff I'm learning about government contracts and HC corporations with 4 years of tax history. So I can labor. That's my labor, though, for the most part. And I don't have to go in somewhere because we have people that come in to our work, except it's online. You know what I'm saying? My wife just hit me up. She texted me. She said, hey, can you give access to so-and-so because they need to use Zoom because we do screen shares and whatever. And so I was like, yeah, is that labor? No, it keeps the cogs moving, but it's not difficult to do. It took me, a minute. And then I'm doing YouTube and I'm talking about everything that I've done to build my machine that runs so that I can then do my work. It's not that easy for most people, Ben. No, it's not. It wasn't always this easy for me. And I'm not certain that it'll always be this easy for me. What I am certain of is I have a North Star. Okay. It's interesting. What did I title this today? I titled this, give me a second here. I can't even see that. I'm looking at the screen. I'm going, okay, how is my social? Is it YouTube? How to live without worrying about money. How do you live without worrying about money? How do you live without worrying about your Labor Day? How do you worry about living without needing your slave job? How do you live without worshiping your days off? I would hate to just worship my days off. I can't stand that. I can't even think about that. Living my whole life, going to work every day. You'd have to get to the shipyard. You'd have to show up to your van pool at 5:45 a.m., 5:30, 5:45 a.m. every day. And some guys do this for 50 freaking years, 40 to 50 years. I'm not kidding. Every freaking day. How's that freaking possible? Now, there is something to say about the consistency, about the fact that you as a man or woman go and you provide for your family in that regard. It's a meager, provision for most people. But if you're smart and you're wise, there's a lot of people that do get rich from that sort of a lifestyle. Maybe they're not entrepreneurial. I'm not saying it's better to be an entrepreneur than have a 9 to 5, although I think it is. But what I'm saying is it's a mindset. How do you live without worrying? Most people worry about money. Most people worry about money. Most people worry about a repair that comes up, or a medical emergency, or a car that breaks down. Most people are worried about those things. They wake up at night and they worry. How do you live a life without worry? Well, there's a passage in the scripture. King David at the cave in Adullam. So David left Gath, is what it says. 1 Samuel 22. David left Gath and escaped to the cave of Adullam. Soon his brothers and all his other relatives joined him there. Then others began coming, men who were in trouble or in debt, or who were just discontented. Now, 1 Samuel 22, this is interesting. This is the English Standard. Let me go to the NIV. Here, I'll do a screen share with you so you can see what I'm looking at. And everyone who was in distress and in debt, and everyone who was bitter in soul gathered to him, and he became commander over them, and there were with him about 400 men. That's a lot of guys to be distressed, in debt, and with a bitter soul. And what a number of, I want to go NIV. Let's go. Yeah. All those who were in distress or in. It's how most people who live for Labor Day, that's the reality of their everyday life. They're distressed, they're in debt, they're discontented, they're distressed. This is a map. It's a map for you. It in those 3 words, the 3 D's: distressed, in debt, and discontented. If you've ever been distressed as an adult, in what way was the majority of that distress? Did that happen? For me, I can say that it was money. I always had money problems. I never had money in my pocket. A few bills, have a little fun, enough to go out, have fun, and then come back home. I got back home, okay? I had fun, but I was distressed. They were distressed because they were in debt, because they were discontented. That's how I define that passage. They were discontented. They didn't have what they wanted. They didn't have the lifestyle that they wanted. They didn't have the feeling every day that they wanted. They didn't have the purpose that they needed. So they tried to fill the void with dopamine hits by spending money that they didn't have, that they couldn't repay. And then they were distressed. So they were discontented, so they went into debt, and then they became distressed. It's interesting. It's like a word map or a story map. And so that's most people. Most people are discontented with their lives, so they make poor financial decisions. Whereas Forbes tells us, I mention this all the time, this is the biggest financial problem. This is one of the biggest ways that will, the biggest things in your life that will ruin your ability to get rich, according to my definition. You can read that in the caption, what my definition of rich is. In the description, not the caption, the description. And it's all of your assets. Your assets pay for all of your monthly expenses. But you don't have to have a life where your assets pay for all of your monthly expenses to be happy. and to be contented and to not be in debt. You go into debt most of the time with a decision. Most of the time, people are not in debt because something bad happened. Most of the time, they're in debt because of their lifestyle. And something happened, an emergency happened, and according to they were misleveraged or overly leveraged with their money, or they made a purchase, whether it was for a good intent or whether it was just a consumer good like a car, because you're going through a quarter life crisis or your first breakup or whatever it was. You get in debt through decisions, and nobody can put you into debt. That's what I'm saying. Nobody can spend your money for you unless you allow them. Nobody can do that, or else you're just really a slave. It's interesting how really wealth building comes down to daily habits. Daily habits. And most people just think that they're going to keep their daily habits that perpetuate negligence, lack of management, lack of responsibility, lack of learning, lack of application. They think they can live that way. They think they can go to their 9 to 5, escape on the bus, get home, watch Netflix, smoke dope, go out and party with their friends, come home, wake up at 5 a.m. the next day to do it all over again. And then they wonder why they're distressed and debt and discontented. It's just unbelievable. It's a big doom loop. Habits. This is interesting. If you don't know who Derek Whitehead is, oh my God. Economic masonry. I don't know like what this is. That's like I forget what that is. Looks like the what is he talks about Latin. This looks Latin to me. I forget what that means or what that is. It's some sort of a scope or measurement thing or whatever it is. I don't know. Maybe it's I forget what that thing is. Anyways, Derek Whitehead, this book, look at this book is only here. Let me pull the pen out. Mark my page. I've been walking around with this book for the last week. The book is only this thick. Okay. It's this print. Really big words. Okay. Really big words. Very short pages. There's 100 and hella typos in this book. In one chapter, I was like, you got to be kidding me. You didn't proofread this? Which blows my mind because I spent $50 on this book. I spent $50 on a book. Yes. With 225 pages. Let me do some quick math. This is my YouTube, y'all. If you don't like it, you can go somewhere else. Life change is what happens on this YouTube. Financial transformation is what happens on this YouTube channel. Radical positive change is what happens on this YouTube channel. I'm not with the fluff. I used to be fluffy. There's not much fluff in me no more. Brass mofo tax. Results. Get from A to B as fast as you can. It ain't about fluff. It ain't about 4 a.m. every day cold plunges, mantras, meditations, and affirmations. It's not about a miracle. Getting rich is not about that. Having a good life is not about that. Living without fear of money is not about being rich and being wealthy. Getting rich is about decisions on a daily basis. This is not about your cold plunges. And it's about doing things that the rich are doing. It's about mimicking what the rich are doing. How do you know what the rich are doing if you're not looking, reading through, learning from the rich? And this is crazy. Do you want to know how to be rich? There ain't no guessing about how to be rich. Read this mofo book. Spend $50 to change your life. Here, I'm learning about money raises. I'm learning about seed money, seed rounds, A, B, C, and D funding rounds, social media campaigns for funding. I am learning about, what else am I learning about? Taking your company public, an IPO. You can take your company public, be a publicly traded company with 35 people. 35 people. You can have a publicly traded company. Oh, it must cost $1 million. You're an idiot. It doesn't cost $1 million. Here. What does he say? This dude is loaded to the gills with money. He's made a boatloads of money. He mentors and guides the wealthy and the famous. He was in banking for 30 plus years and lending. The man knows the secrets of the game. Find the guy. He's amazing. And I'm like, nobody knows about it. There's like 100 likes on his videos. And I'm like, you guys, where are you? This is where the money is. This is where the money is. And you're dicking around with your app billiards game while your wife's working. Jackass. Get off the effing couch. Buy a book. Read it. Apply it. That's how you get rich. Okay, here we go. Riches are a state of mind. This is straight from the horse's mouth. I'm not, respectfully. I respect this man greatly. Straight from them, as they say, the horse's mouth. Riches are a state of mind. You may theoretically be wealthy, but still poor, and vice versa. But wealth can also refer to psychological wealth. And this is really the one sentence that launched this whole thing today. Made me title this talk what I titled it. And that is, let me make sure I stopped the screen share. Yes, I did. He said, but wealth can also refer to psychological wealth. Being able to live without worrying about money is a success. That's the only thing I'm getting at today. Being able to live without worry of money. Okay? People who worship Labor Day and their stupid holidays are worried about money. How does that correlate, Ben? I don't know. It just does. Poor people care about holidays. Rich people, entrepreneurs, people who, it doesn't matter whether it's Monday or Saturday. They don't care about no Labor Day. It's a day to have fun and have friends over. But what was I doing yesterday? My brothers are over. We're talking about crypto. We're talking about the bull run. We're talking about what to do after you pull your profits. We're talking about real estate and development. We're talking about the housing market. We're talking about interest rates dropping this month, either around the 17th or the 18th. This Jay Powell has stated. We're talking about 6 different rate cuts before the end of the year. We're talking about selling this piece of real estate. We're talking about Forex, AI, crypto bots. We're talking about stuff that actually freaking we love. That's what we love. We talk about this all day, every day, though. How many of you just went to your stupid barbecue and you got drunk and you ate too many freaking pieces of shortbread cake? I don't know. I'm just going like, was that your Labor Day? Did any one of your friends bring up crypto? Have any of your friends invested in Bitcoin? Have you bought any? Do you care about the rate cuts? Do you care about getting rich? If you want to get rich, you got to care about it. I'm not saying you should worship it. I'm just saying we take time to do Labor Day and go barbecue and hang out with people. We take time to go be with our friends, with our wives and our kids. We make time to go hunting with the boys. We make time to go drinking at the bar and watching football on weekends. Why don't you make time to read an effing book about money? and learn how to take a company public and then go buy your NFL team. I'm like, it's crazy, but I sound nuts. But I guess that my content is going to be for people who are nuts, because this is how I think and how I live. And I'm not saying that everything should be work in your life. I'm just saying that everything in my life, the thing that I enjoy so much, the thing that I work on all the time, every day, is my mind, my body, and my business. Mind, body, business. Brain, body, business. That should be a book. Brain, body, business. It's a good one. Oh my God. So how do you live without financial worry if you're not rich? Do you know the number one way to do it? How to live without financial worry. This is amazing. Straight from the horse's mouth, as they say. This is the richest, one of the richest dudes. This dude can print money. This dude prints money, as they say. This dude prints money. And you're sitting there listening to your broke ass dad or your freaking broke ass friend who has no money, who all he has is debt, lives like a slave, spends like crazy. Maybe he makes a lot and he can buy toys. It's all debt, bro. You think he's sleeping in peace at night? Unless he's a psychopath, he ain't sleeping at peace at night. This is it. Here you go. Here it is. How do you live without financial worry if you're not rich? Here you go. Living with less than what you have is the key. Let me say that again. Living with less than you have is the key. Ending the month not having spent $500 eating out that month at restaurants or whatever. It's like a good $100 to take my family, like at least to take my family out to a nice dinner. When I say nice, we're just going to the Italian restaurant. It's not like it's a fine dining establishment. You're literally paying like $30 per plate. And then you're like paying, they all want 18% gratuity. Sometimes I have a problem with that. If they did a good job, I'll give them that. If they did a decent, okay job, I'll give them 15. If they did an incredible job, now we're talking. I love tipping. Not that I don't like tipping. I'm just saying, okay, add 18% gratuity. Add tax. Add dessert. Add a glass of wine. It adds up. But we don't do that all the time. But when I do it, I don't even feel it. I don't even look at the prices. I'm just like, what do you want? What do I want? I've lived my life being like, I want to go to any restaurant ever. And I don't want to look at the price, and I want to order what the frick I want. That's one of my dreams in life. Can I do that now? Not with a clean conscience, because I don't have that type of money yet. And it's not that you don't have the money. It's that I want to buy Bitcoin right now. I'm more concerned with Bitcoin than I am with my current lifestyle and the possible. But most people, this is crazy. Look at Forbes. Argue with Forbes. Don't argue with me. 78%? I'm going to say 80%. That's 8 out of 10 people in the United States of America. For every $1 that they earn, they spend $1.33. This is the problem, y'all. People like Brad Lee. Although I feel like to some extent I know where Brad's coming from. Sometimes I think that Brad Lee does not understand his own gifting, and he doesn't understand his own talent. And I think that that is something that all of us, many of us don't understand. And so we have a certain way of living, and he's extraordinary. His ability to earn is extraordinary. Did it all just happen? No, he's been through hell. He's told a lot of stories about that. I love Bradley. I love Bradley. I know that I would love hanging out with Bradley. But I also know that Bradley gives advice like, I've heard from Brad, it's like, if you want the car, stop bitching and moaning about you can't afford it. Go and buy it and just make more money. And I'm going like, I understand, you got to understand context a little bit, but I go, no, no, dude, that's not how you do it. Maybe that's how Brad did it. Maybe that's how them gifted freaking freakwads can do it. The guys who can just make billions or whatever. But I'm going, that's not how most people are going to achieve it. That's not practical for most people. And if you do that, you end up hating that thing. I would side much more with Dave Ramsey in this regard and go, and with Derek Whitehead, two guys equally as rich, if not more rich, more wealthy. That's wealth. That ain't just rich. That's wealth. There's a difference between rich and your assets pay for all your monthly expenses than flying private jets and, going to white parties with Michael Eisner or whatever the guy's name is. Who's Michael Eisner? I don't even know who that is. That sports guy. Anyways, he says, living with less than what you have is the key. Being normal, yet having the means to accomplish much more. This is fully what I believe. That living with less than what you have is the key. Entrepreneurs carry a lot of debt. We live in a world of debt. We are in a debt-based economy. We are in a credit-based economy. Credit is just debt. And the government prints dollars. And if they stopped printing dollars, the whole show stops. The dollar is a Ponzi scheme. The government pays off their debt with government-issued notes, treasury bills, bonds, that in this last round, other countries aren't buying the bonds. They're not buying nearly as many bonds. They're not buying nearly as many treasury notes. So the funding for our debt, that's how the Fed, which is not a government agency, that's how the government funds itself, with trash money. So they print bills, these treasury bills, they create these treasury bills, and to buy the bills, they print money. And they use the money to buy the bills and pay for the debt. Guys, it's so insane. It's so insane. But you can't do that. I mean, if you do that, you'll go to prison. Yet that's the fraudulent system that we're in. Fraud vitiates all things. That's not true either, because that is fraud. We live under fraud. When we came off the gold standard, it's total fraud. But you still can use the system to your advantage by turning fake fiat, their fake crap, trash money, into real assets like real estate, real property, a real business, stock, equity, manufacturing, crypto, goods, products, offering services. You take fake money from the credit system and you inject that into real assets. So the assets carry debt, yes, but what do they cash flow? So you could call debt bad. I'm going, is all debt bad? No, not under a credit system. But there are ways still to get rich without debt. It'll take much longer, but there's ways to do it. Go to Dave Ramsey if you want to do that. I'm liking this guy right now. But he says, being normal, yet having the means to accomplish much more. That's how you can live your life without worries about money. That's how. How to live without worrying about money. If I wake up at night, there's two things that I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about safety in my family. Well, I'm thinking about three things. I'm thinking about safety with my family. I think about my own moral failures. I think about that at night a lot. I think about my own soul. I think about things that I should have done or things that I shouldn't have said or whatever. And I'm tormented by that from time to time. Last night, I was tormented by that. I woke up at 2:15 in the morning. I was so tired. There's a lot of health things going on. I'm resetting some stuff, working very diligently at my health, and it's getting better, but something is happening where I'm not sleeping. I'm worrying about my family. I'm worrying about safety. There's these worries that I have that are unrealistic, but there's certain things in life that you just worry about. Right now, am I worried about money? I am leveraged, bro. I'm leveraged. I'll tell you that much. Am I over leveraged? Time will tell. I've invested really hard. My wife and I have invested really, really hard the last 3.5 years, 4 years. I mean, we've always been the investor type, like we're investing in our future. We're putting money towards things that make us grow. We are putting money into our business and purchasing assets for the greater asset. So like one of the assets, one of the investments we want to make this year is by hiring a certain position within our company. And that'll cost, about $100,000 per year once we hire that position. But I go, it's an investment into the company. So I'm purchasing an asset for the greater asset. Does that make sense? So that's one way to do it as well. But I'm just going, guys, you don't have to own businesses. You don't have to, own tons of assets. What you have to do is just focus on not spending more than you make. He said this, it isn't easy to accomplish a goal like getting rich in a short amount of time, which is another reason why people, they're not patient. They're not willing to wait. They think because it's come to them, it's for them. They think because they want it, they should have it. Not how life works. And when life does work like that for you, it stumps you. And then in the end, you're going to be in debt, and you're going to be distressed in debt and discontented. That dopamine, bro. You got to get that dopamine under control. It isn't easy to accomplish a goal like getting rich in a short amount of time. Instead of focusing on how to become wealthy quickly, try to save $100,000 first. Oh my God, I don't even have $1,000 saved. How can I save $100,000? I remember this woman one time. She was like, she had some, how do I say this without revealing who it is? She was like, I saw it on Facebook. This is years ago. I just won't forget it. Like this chick, she was like, oh man, I got a financial coach and blah, blah, blah. She made this post and she's like, I never knew that I could get, I was always out of control, but this person really helped me and blah, blah, blah. And, they said the first thing I need to do is save $1,000. She gave this whole kind of story about her revelation. She just needs to get $1,000 emergency fund. I'm like, that used to be me. I didn't even have $1,000, bro. I remember when the bank stole my wife and I's last $700. It wasn't a bank. It was some fraudulent transaction with a debit card. I don't know how it happened. The signature was there. It wasn't either of our signature. It was fraud. But then the bank waited two months to give us back $700. Two months. $700. Crazy. That was low. I felt really low. Big provider, man. It's reality. But you know what? It's amazing how those things can change you if you let them. It's amazing how those things can wake you up from your slumber if you let them. It's amazing how those things can lead to these things if you let them. If you let the work do the work. What am I saying? Let's get back to the point. How do you live without financial worry? Spend less than you make. But the wealthy carry debt. No, the wealthy buy assets. The asset carries debt, but it cash flows plenty of money to be able to pay for that liability. Assets aren't just assets. There is liability with every asset, which is why management is a key to wealth. So if you want to earn more, have better performing assets, you have to learn to manage better. It's amazing, isn't it? It's principle. So how do you live without financial worry? Well, you consistently make more than you spend. Then you build up a savings account. 3 to 6 months of savings. Then you can begin investing. And if you don't have to be making, you don't even have to be making $100,000 a year. You could be making $50,000 a year. You could be making $40,000 a year. Can you live? Yeah. Is that much left over? No. Okay. But you could be starting there. Okay. And then the way that you expand your earnings, the way that you make more, the way that you stop worrying is stop spending the money that you earn on consumer bullshit. Credit card debt for vacations, Airbnb. It's so easy. You could go into debt. You can walk right into debt. There's so many people that will let you walk right into that debt. No problem. The regulators, they'll let you walk into that mortgage debt. The college loan people, those shyster pieces of shit, sending children 17, 18 years old into these massive tens of thousands and six-figure debts to these colleges that don't do nothing but teach them gender queer studies and bullshit, and how to have sex and how to be a Babylonian. And people going into debt for this. This is insane. Stop the freaking madness, y'all. So stop spending more than you earn. Okay? And then start making more. Well, how do I make more? I'm in my job, blah, blah, blah. Have you ever gone to your boss and been like, boss, listen, I want to be someone that makes everyone better. I want to contribute to this business in a greater way. I want to carry more weight and be more valuable for this company. I want to make more. I want to expand who I am. I want to solve more problems for you if I'm able to make more by solving those problems. Are there any other problems I can solve for you to where I can make more money? Have you ever talked to your boss that way? No. Why? Because you went to public school. That's why. Because nobody taught you shit except how to show up and how to check the box and how to fill out the form and how to put a condom on and then how to go get a freaking job, slave. Enjoy your slavery day. Woo! Ouchie. Well, Ben, wealthy people are evil, and you just have more expression for your evil when you get more wealthy. So most of the wealthy people I know have been totally gone, totally evil, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you need to get in different circles, bro. You need to get in different circles. Your experience is not my experience. You've made an agreement with yourself that money is evil because why? You don't know how to get it. So you made an agreement with your lesser self that you don't need any money and money won't make you happy. Now, does money make you happy? On the beach in Costa Rica, Four Seasons, sipping a Mai Tai, knowing that my machine's running and I'm making money while I'm here doing nothing because I invested right or I built a vehicle or something. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't just get that lifestyle. You win in the margins. My wife and I didn't just purchase all this crypto. We wanted to get into crypto. I had to spend in 2020, I had to spend $2,500 for Tika Tiwari's financial information, his financial info. I had to spend $2,500. And then I had to go buy the crypto. I only had $2,500 other to go buy other crypto. We maxed out our savings. This was 4.5 years ago. This is crazy. Everywhere where I've come in 4.5 years, it's nuts. It's transformational. Well, I can't afford a Bitcoin. Do you have 50 bucks, dipshit? Do you have 50 bucks? Shut the hell up. Go on to your Square app or Coinbase or something. Go buy $50 worth of Bitcoin, you loser. Knuckleheads. I feel like Pace Morby. I'm not even talking to anyone right now. I'm literally talking to a screen when nobody's watching. Look at what I do. I'm talking to a screen and nobody's watching. This is great because I'm going to look back 3 to 5 years from now and there's going to be, whatever, however many views. And I'm going to be like, well, I just showed you how to get rich. I just showed you how to win championships. How? Well, 5 years ago, I launched a YouTube channel and I started talking. Nobody watched, but I knew I was good at talking. I wasn't the best at talking, but I knew that I could polish my chops. I knew that I could get my website up. I knew that I could write that book. I knew that I could turn these into shorts. I knew that I could talk about something that I cared about and help people. And I know that what I'm talking about is legitimate life change because my life has changed. And people go, oh, he had overnight success. Tell that to me today with my YouTube channel at 7 subscribers. It's like my mom and grandma and freaking brothers and maybe my best friend. My wife isn't even subscribed to my YouTube channel. Why? Because media is an asset, diphead. Media is an asset. And for people to buy from me 5 years from now with whatever I'm selling, I'm prepping it now. It's amazing. This government contracting thing. I keep telling people about this because my mind is blown. I grew up thinking, believing Fox News. My dad was a Fox News fanatic. He believed Fox News. This was a generational thing. Before Trump, in 2015-16, and even leading up, even up to 2020, I was a little bit like, I thought the mainstream media could be, the legacy media could be redeemed, or somehow they were saying the truth, or they had the story that I believed, or whatever. I'm like, it's all BS, y'all. It's all garbage. Stop watching it. It ain't going to help you. The only reason I watch the news anymore is for news on crypto and the money system, M2 money supply, and what the news is saying, because you learn how they manipulate you if you're paying attention. But I believed all that stuff. I thought all that stuff, and that stuff, and Fox News and CNN, two sides of the same coin, my friends. It's A/B testing. It's neither is real, neither is true. It's a marketing system to get dollars and views and data from you, and to sedate the masses from waking up and realizing their potential and learning about this stuff, economic masonry, how to create, how to build, how to construct, how to forge things that will help you uncover the truth in your own life, to find spiritual fulfillment and salvation, to give you hope. They don't want you to have hope. They don't want you to be an entrepreneur. They want you to be a worker. Most people. Banks are not allowed to guide you. Bankers are not allowed to guide you. This guy was a banker for 30 years. He said, we're not allowed to guide you in the products that you want to purchase from us. Why? Because they don't want you to find out their secrets. And I just spend my time, I guess, if I have some sort of a quality or something that's really changed my life significantly, is my desire to find that secret. And so when I want to know about lending, where do I go? If I want to know about starting a business, what should the structure be? If I want to know how to sell, who do I go to? You know what I'm saying? And you're just going like, what do I do? And then I go, oh my God, like, well, you just launch it like the rich launch it. And then you find, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm almost done here. It's been an hour. But y'all, how do you live without worry about money? You'll find contentment in what you got. Okay? You tighten your belt on your spending. You make sure that you're earning more than you're spending. Then you build up a sales, or you build up, a savings 3 to 6 months. And then you start investing 15% of your income the Dave Ramsey way. If you can invest more when you're younger. I think invest younger, take bigger risks when you're younger, because you have more time. And we don't know how much time we have, but you know what I'm saying. Most people aren't going to die at 25. They're going to live their full life. You find the margin. Go to your boss, ask them, how can I make everybody better? How can I make your business better? How can I take worry off of you? Well, you need to show up on time, Ben. Okay, you need to read this book. I need a manager who can manage this issue in the business. Do you think you could do this? Well, I don't really know how to do that today, but how fast do you think I could learn to do that? No, whatever. And if you do this, Ben, I'll pay you $500 extra per month. If there's another $500. Now, I'm not saying maybe there's another $5,000 a month. It's your current job. You just don't know because you haven't ever talked and you haven't ever gone for it. You know what I'm saying? This is why it's so important to have mentorship as well, where I go, you don't have to, there's a number of different ways to skin a cat. And you definitely don't know all of them. But there's a lot of seasoned cat skinners out there, been skinning cats for 50 years. And they're at the SBDC. There's another secret, the SBDC. The government, I was talking about the government. I grew up thinking the government was against me. And they are, to a large extent, they are. They want you to be a slave. They want you to enjoy Labor Day. They want the majority of people to be workers, you know. They want majority of people to be laborers, to be the laboring class, to be the lower class, to buy the houses, the crap houses that they build in Northport. They're building all over the place. Crappy houses. They want you to buy their crappy product. When you're at the bottom, when you're a laborer, you get the laborer stuff. But that's not true if you're an entrepreneur. If you're an entrepreneur, the government rewards you. It's crazy, y'all. It's crazy what you believe and the agreements you've made with yourself about money and about the government and about who's out to get you and about the pressure that's unnecessary you put on yourself and the debt that you have. And you know, the government, it's amazing. Like I have $100 million plan. I have a $100 million plan for my business. How is that possible, man? It's because I read books like this all day, man. How do you have a $100 million plan for your business? Well, is it going to happen tomorrow? No. I mean, if it does, cool. I ain't counting on no lottery, bro. What I'm counting on is my North Star asset. The asset. The asset. Do I need 100 million to be happy? No. And to billionaires, that's still baby money. Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway, they're sitting on $278 billion in cash. If I looked at Warren Buffett and I compared myself to a man who's been investing for 60 odd years, I'm going to come up short, which is why don't compare yourselves amongst yourselves. That is not wise. The Lord already tells us that is not wise. Don't compare yourself to rich people. Only thing they're doing is something you're not. They're doing something. They know something you don't. They're doing something you're not. That's the only difference. If they're Jewish, they know someone that you don't. Okay? Because we just know this is common knowledge. Jews run everything. But I have no problem with Jews running anything. It's not about that. It's about how do I align myself with the people that are winning? How do I align myself with that's what I'm saying. It's like Derek Whitehead. I think, was it Derek Whitehead? I don't know if it was Derek Whitehead. I don't want to say it was. But what do different racial groups aspire to be? A lot of people want to blame their race. I'm unsuccessful and I have 10 kids because I'm black and the government, blah, 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 all this stuff. I'm like, black people, what do they focus on? What is the culture worship? What do they all want to be when they grow up? That's what I'm saying. They want to be rappers and they want to be athletes. Are blacks the best athletes? By far. Yes. God gave them an ability to be athletes. So for the majority of blacks that become high-paid NBA stars, or they make it to the league, they ride the bench in whatever league, black people can play any sport. They can do it. It's amazing. I mean, they have extra muscles or something. It's like it's a gift from God. Am I jealous of blacks' athletic ability? Yes. Yes. I'd love to be able to dunk at 5'9". I would love it. I'll never dunk. What do Jews do? What does the Jewish tradition do? What do they kind of worship? What do they all want to be when they grow up? Well, they go into banking. They go into law. They go into medical. They go into the professions that make the most money. And they all know each other. So why wouldn't they give each other jobs? It's interesting because the only race that doesn't do that for one another are whites. One of the biggest lies that the government's told all of us is that, your race, it's your race. Politics, people want votes, people wanting to sedate the masses, to keep them happy, whatever. And they bait you into racial arguments. And they go, oh, these black people are victims of, white supremacy or whatever. I go, I've never suppressed a black person in my life. I wanted to. A couple of them. Bunch of jerks. I've been beat up. I was beat up by a group of black kids when I was 10 years old. Oh, what'd you do, white boy? What'd you do to that? Oh, what'd you do to get that? I didn't do anything. I was literally playing with Kenny and Kitten, my black friends, at 10 years old in their driveway. We're shooting hoops. This group of these karate, this dojo, the group of karate kids, they were in high school. They came over to our game in Kenny and Kitten's driveway. They stole the ball from us, and I confronted them. I said, hey, give us the ball back. Stop messing with us. This girl came over and wailed on me, started punching me and kicking me. I was bleeding. I was limping. And I went home. And my two buddies, Kenny and Kitten, didn't do nothing. They sided with them. I couldn't believe it. What racial thing did you say? I didn't say nothing. I was walking in Boston with my wife. The school bus driver by. White bitches! I think that black people actually have no idea what white people go through. And they want to act like they do. But I don't think that's all black people. I think it's a cultural thing. And whites have been taught to hate themselves and to not team together. And to give the job to the black guy versus the white guy if it comes down to it and they have the same skill set, whatever. And affirmative action. It's all of the devil. It's all of the devil. But I also go, if you're black or if you're Indian, if you're Asian, if you're considered a socially or economically disadvantaged person, to utilize that. I would, for sure. And y'all do every day. Y'all do every day. The thing is, we're too full of the devil's knowledge. We're too full of worldliness. We're too full of agreements that we've made that we believe about ourselves or about our culture, whatever. And I'm just going, there is no discrimination for any race, any color, any gender, any age who wants to start a government contracting business or any business. If you haven't started the business, if you want to start a business, you can go to the SBDC and for free, for your tax money, it's never free, but for free. No, not a dime, not a penny, not a bloody red cent. You will not pay the SBDC a bloody red cent to obtain an amazing mentor if you want to start and grow a business. Or if you have an established business and you want to go into government contracts, or if you want to go, you have established business, you want to do something else. It's insane. I'm blown away. And it doesn't have anything to do with your race, brother or sister. It has nothing to do with your color, your gender, your socioeconomic status. And in fact, the more socioeconomically disadvantaged you can claim with the government, the more opportunity there is for you. The government is not against you. The government is for entrepreneurs because entrepreneurs do what the government can't, which is what? Provide housing and create jobs. They don't care what you look like, as long as you make your voters happy. Dude, I'm ranting. It's real talk. Real talk. I'm not about all that woke life. I'm not about black victimhood. I'm not about keeping mum about Jews. I think that people should embrace what they are and be proud of what they are. I'm proud that I'm white. I'm a beautiful, amazing white man with a wonderful white family and white heritage. And there's nothing wrong with that. White traditions. I sound like a white guy. It's my identity. I'm not ashamed of it. Never going to be. And in the scripture, there is no Jew or Greek, slave, nor free male nor female. So if you're about that life, then you ain't about God's life. It blows my mind when I see Christian blacks walking around with Black Lives Matter shirts. It does not compute for me. It's an abomination. Black Lives Matter is an abomination to blacks. And they're shitting on themselves by wearing those shirts. That's how I see it. 100%. It's a doctrine of demons. And it's legacy media that you've listened to for far too long. And you think you're disadvantaged because of... Have you ever read A Brave New World? Cognitive dissonance. It's amazing. Anyways, man, I love y'all. And anybody who's hearing this is, I don't care what you look like. I don't care what you sound like. What I care about is that you're a good guy or a good lady, that you work hard and you want what's best for your family. that you find salvation, you find God, and that you find transformation in some form through the words that I'm speaking to you. I've spent a lot of money to learn what I know and to speak the words that I'm speaking to you. I've paid a great price to be in the position, not that I'm better than anyone, but I've paid a great price to be able to tell you the truths that I know, that have been worked out of me, that have been pounded out on the anvil of truth in my own life. And the dark days I've overcome, and I don't know what's coming. I don't know what's coming. I can guess. I can't predict. History doesn't necessarily repeat, but it rhymes. And so I have my intuition about those things, but I don't want anyone, unless you're a thief or a liar or some shyster pastor who, preaches on Sunday and then steals money or steals people's wives or whatever, people like that are scrupulous and ruin it for everyone else. I want you all to have a rich life and to not worry about money and to experience wealth in the 4 F's: faith, family, finance, and fitness, as most everything in our lives falls under those 4 categories. And I hope that I can contribute to that success in some way. What I say, I practice. What I preach, I practice more and more and more as time goes on. That is what makes someone special. Is you were created in God's image, but your words and your actions align. There is symmetry. And I want everyone who knows God, like, you shouldn't be broke. If you know God, you should not be in poverty. And ultimately, the ultimate wealth is knowing God and being in his presence. I was in his presence this morning, and it was wonderful. Short time in his presence. And I'm framing my day with prayer. I'm learning to frame my day with prayer. And as my bank account grows, as my assets grow, my spirit grows, and I find greater truths, and I'm on a journey myself. But I have a North Star. And I want you to have a North Star. God bless you. Thanks for listening. And I'll be back with more from the YouTube channel. And I'm on Instagram if you want to go over to Instagram. My stories are fire. I just have lost my mind. Like, I just been post about like flat Earth, and the Earth is flat. I don't even, like, it's not even any debate. Science is clear. I believe science, and God created science. Anyways, yeah, if you want to get really rocked, go over to my Instagram story. All right, love y'all. Talk to you later.